All right, I have a journal share. This is my new journal. I just finished my other one maybe a week ago. And, it's COVID lockdown, so I don't really have much going on to even write about. But so I have a lot of journals that are waiting to be used, probably maybe 20 of them. So when I need a new journal, I just go and pick one. So I can't even remember how I made this one. It has, this wasn't a cloth napkin right here. And this is maybe a collage of, it looks like a couple layers of some book pages that are stitched on, some lace along the side. And there's this lace here serving as its closure. There's a map, some music notes, and the book page, the beginnings. So I picked this one because I like the size. I like that it's, a size that I can actually write on, because most of my journals have writing in them. And this was a cross stitch, or I think it's cross stitch, that I found at I don't know what it was supposed to be, but I found this at a local thrift store. And look, all of that white, and maybe it's called needlepoint, not cross stitch, but I turned this into a pocket. And when I find works like this, I always pick them up because I really admire the effort and how much it took to get that done. And I know that, family members, when somebody passes, they don't necessarily care, but I actually do. So I usually pick those up. And since this was a peach, I had this wallpaper that had a peach and grape, so there's another pocket. And this is fabric, and it feels like there's paper in there too. Like I said, I made this so long ago, I don't really even know what's in there. And I'm going to add some little booklets here too, so this should last me a while. This is a coffee filter. This is a poem from William Carlos William. Just to say I have eaten the plums that were in the icebox, and which you were probably saving for breakfast, forgive me. They were delicious, so sweet, and so cold. And this is from something I had to read when I was in college, and this was my first introduction to a poem that's not a poem. It's like, is that really a poem? And this was junk mail. There's an embossed thing there, so I don't know what it is. And what I did is I took the two pages, flipped open the side that didn't have any text on it, and then sewed them together. So there's some little stitching along there. This is some scrapbook page that I've sewn. It looks like some of my daughter's maybe kindergarten notebook. This is copy paper that I have coffee stained. This is from a magazine. It's a nice crinkle sound. Here's some other things. I haven't even looked in here. Okay, so there's some beets. So this is a good one for spring, summer. It looks like this is an envelope maybe that was sealed that I coffee stained and glued some beets on. This is wallpaper. And it makes, listen, the ASMR flip through. And this is from a Reader's Digest, 1950s, I think. Logo. Yeah, 1957. So the illustrations in these things are so beautiful, and you can, at my store they cost 25 cents, so you can really get them inexpensively. Here's some paper that I've coffee stained, stamped, and stamped some writing lines in. And this type of paper is great, like if you wanted to do an illustration or pull something out of a magazine and then write about it too. I like that kind of thing. I don't know if I'll do that in here, but that's definitely an option. Yeah, I remember I haven't coffee stained in such a long time, and I really love that looking at this. Here is a Virginia Bluebell. and a spider wart. And this was paper that I got in Pakistan, and I love this paper too. The stationery stores sell this paper for students to cover their textbooks with, so I loved it. So even when I'm not a student, I said, oh, that looks lovely, let me get it. Here's a little botanical. And this has been decoupaged, and it feels like it's a napkin, so with some stitching. And one of the things with these is if you do layer upon layer, it just really makes it more interesting. Here is a little 1950s or 60s book that is for children talking about the magic of nature. So this must have been a nature themed. Yep, here's another one. I picked some seeds one by one. This is definitely a good one, and I was sort of picking this out in the dark, so I wasn't sure what I was doing or getting. There's a little lemon. This is the cover of a book page, or a cover of a book jacket that I turned into a little tuck spot. So this journal came out really nice. I'm pretty happy with it. Here's another writing spot, the back of that poppy filter, my pocket on the other side, my pocket on the other side, and then there is a little space to slip things in. So a little belly band made out of lace. Alright, so that is the flip through of this, and what I've done is I had some junk mail come to my house yesterday, and it was a big envelope, so I really like to reuse these things. So here's some of the leftovers of it. So I have a bunch of little watercolors. Alright, so now I'm going to glue in some of these pictures that I've made, and what I did is I used a Sharpie and some watercolors, and once I used the watercolors, the lines became not very clear, so then what I did, I went back and did all the black lines clear. So if you do Sharpies and watercolors and you can't figure out where your lines went, just go back and retrace them. So by doing this, I'm doing several things, one of which is finding a new place for garbage so that it's not being thrown away. And obviously paper is biodegradable, so it's not as bad as throwing out some things, but I still feel like there's my little boat on the ocean and my little star. But I still feel like with recycling, it's still giving it a new home, and I feel like I'm a little bit clever because then I have found a resource that I can reuse, and it always makes me happy to reuse a resource. I feel like I'm being a good citizen of the world, so it gives me a sense of happiness to know that I have maybe made less of an impact than I could have. And of course, I mean, I don't recycle everything. I can't, with all of the crap that comes to my house in the mail, I can't always get everything, but when I do, it makes me feel happy that I'm somehow balancing the things that I have thrown out. And these were just little drawings that I sat down and did, and I haven't really been working in journals much. I've been doing a lot more sewing than journaling, and it really made me happy to do this because I haven't done it in a while. It's like taking a break from anything and then going back to it. It was really nice. So I think, COVID has been challenging for, I guess, most people, unless you work like in the mask industry. I reprioritized long ago, and I was able to pretty much stop working at 41 because of some lifestyle choices that I made, living very frugally and we purchased a house with cash during the 2008 crisis, housing crisis. Our house was bank owned, and they were just getting it off the books so we could purchase it for a very, very cheap price. So that allowed me to really stop working, and I could start focusing on things I enjoyed and raising my children without work. And now, you know, that's been more than 10 years ago, so most of my children are adults and my time is pretty much my own. So for us, COVID hasn't really impacted us as much as it has other people. We don't work, my husband and I don't work outside the house, so we both have very easy jobs online that, you know, it's just a few hours a week really, so our time is our own. But I think other people have started to look into that idea and that kind of lifestyle. So there you have it. So I have added some extra elements to my book and sort of made it my own with my own little drawings in there. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.